Hi guys, welcome to another episode of T.N.T. Garage. Been away for a bit, but I've been busy doing some stuff, working. But today we're coming back with a little project that I hope you guys might like. It's kind of fun, but first we got to do some things. And no, the project isn't with this or that, which there is a couple of videos coming up on that, so stay tuned. But I'll show you what we're getting at right after the intro. So let's get to it. All right, what we're working on today is my crappy ass old lawnmower, but we're gonna go through and give her a makeover after we fix her issues. Now we got to put a starter in it, so first things first, this will be a how-to to put a starter in a Briggs twin, and then we're gonna make this thing look a lot better than it does, because as you see, it's pretty sad. It used to be red once. Ugh, that's sticky. Anyway, so for you guys that don't remember from a very early video, this is a piece of crap lawnmower that had one of those forward back kind of, you push it, you go faster with the go pedal. Well, that broke, so it's got a Craftsman 6-speed in it that I delicately made a nice hole for the shifter, but we got it to work. So let's start with getting this front end apart and let's get that starter changed. All right, so we're going to start off by taking all this cowling off, the hood off and everything, which on an MTD, Yard Machines, Ranch King, I think they're all the same. This was a Yard Humper, whatever the hell it is. Anyway, pretty much all the same. Grab yourself a screwdriver or a couple of these screws. Go ahead and wheel them out. Luckily I had these out last year when I put coil in the damn thing. So every year when winter comes along and I want to mow my lawn, when the snow goes away, I have to basically rebuild my lawnmower. To buy a new one, but why do that when you can fix it? So there's one on the other side. Yeah, that's a nice sound. That's enjoyable. Alright. Now, tactically, I left a lot of bolts out of this last time I worked on it, because I thought I'd be taking it apart again, of course. And I probably can't get this without an extension. There we go. Grab an extension. And it's a 7/16. Luckily, I grabbed one once. Oh, is that? Nope, that, nope. Hold on. I had one. I promise. Now, what in the blazes did I do with it is beyond me. Well, oh, there it is. Found it. It's on the bumper of my pickup. So, go ahead and wing that out, and then there's bolts in the bottom, which are bigger. It's either 13 or 14 on the bottom side. Probably this. Well, there we go. Now, there. Now, the starter's right over here, so we got to take the cowling and everything off the motor, at least this top fan shroud part. So, it looks like a bunch of 10mm bolts. We'll pop her off and get at that starter. Get the shroud up. You can unbolt the dipstick, but if you're lazy. Alright, so now we're getting towards our starter, and it looks like it's going to be an absolute goober to get out of there. So, let's see. We'll get this lower shroud taken out. Of course, that's 8mm or 5/16. Yep, there we go. Now make sure when you're doing a project like this, all the bolts you take out, just put them anywhere because it's fine. Don't go back in. That's a pretty creative thing they got going on there. So it looks like I might have to pull the flywheel, but we'll see if I can jam her out of there anyway. We got 2 bolts going down through here. Of course, one's under the flywheel, and one goes in the backside this way, which doesn't look anything like the starter I bought, which is great. So we're going to disassemble this. So give me a minute. Okay, so I do have to pull the flywheel off. So first things first, you want to take off the finger nabber on the top. That's just like T27 Torx bit screws on a Briggs. Now we got to pull the flywheel off. So find a socket, big impact. You can do all these with hand tools, of course. And then this is something my dad taught me forever ago. To get a flywheel off of an engine like this, you want to take 2 big wrenches, and you just kind of want to wedge them in somewhere. You know, it really doesn't matter what you break, but just wedge them in, find a solid spot where you can kind of rock the flywheel to where it'll pop off. Now this might take me some time because I got the coil in the way and all this stuff, but if you just work at it, you should be able to get it off. You really don't want to take a hammer and wallop on this ring gear, because you'll end up damaging it, and then the starter you put in does you no good. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit. Go ahead, grab yourselves really whatever you like drinking. I don't care. Water, vodka and water, more vodka, whatever. We'll be back. Well, usually the wrench trick works, but I dug out my balancer puller, and doing stuff like this, you find these bolts to run in there. These are the kind of bolts, you know, you want a whole drawer full of them. You know, every job you've ever done, the extra bolts left over from a car where you're like, I probably should have put that in there. Go ahead and throw them in a drawer in the toolbox, because it should be all right. Well, plan B. We'll be back in a second. Well, we got our flywheel off. The secret to it was put some tension on it and then beat the absolute bananas out of it with a hammer, and it broke it free. So I took the 4 bolts out, moved the gas tank there, Now we can get to our starter bolts. So, I'll grab my 13 mil wrench. Of course, take your power off of the starter. And you got one back here that for some reason doesn't want to. Why would that not be a size that works? All right, so grab a 1/2 inch. Go ahead and take this back bolt out here. Yeah. There we go. Now we can bust the 2 top bolts out. And the starter's free. Now, this is what the bracket on the starter looks like. And the good thing is, the starter I bought doesn't look anything like that. But if you run into this issue, these starters are very similar. And I'll show you how to make this work with your bracket. So, let's get to tearing both these down. Okay, so after some struggling, I went ahead and got drive gear and everything off of this starter, and I'll show you guys how to do it on this one. Basically doing it the wrong way, but this is a fresh starter, so this should work. Now, on the bottom here, or top, or whatever you want to call it, you have this armature with your Bendix and everything, and there's a little clip that holds all this on here. So you want to have like 8 hands and use something to pry the clip up, just like I'm doing here, and just work your way around. I tried using the snap ring pliers to spread it, but it just didn't work. So plus I stabbed myself in the finger with them, and I'm bleeding on stuff. So now, pretty much you could just take a screwdriver and work this clip out. There we go. We got our clip out. Now, we make sure you keep all these parts, because this is integral to how the starter functions. So you got top, the spring, and then this flex washer here that goes underneath all that. And then you can pull your whole Bendix assembly off your starter and throw everything everywhere. There we go. Now we're going to change the top mount. That's why we had to take this apart. It's pretty simple. 2 screws on the bottom. They're 8mm if you're Canadian, or 5/16 if you're an American. So go ahead and loosen these bolts up on the bottom of the starter. Go ahead and get them out of there. There we go. Now we're not looking to take the starter apart per se. We want to leave the stator and everything inside the body. We're just pulling these 2 bolts out of the bottom side so we can release our mount. There we go. Now, we got our mount off the top. You leave this all in one piece, and then go to your original starter and repeat the process just like this. Work your 2 lower bolts out. Cocky people over there with their, pull the start mower. I thought about just putting a ripcord on this thing because this is a pain. But we can learn together, right? So work your bolts out just like the other starter. There we go. Which should free. Ooh. This one, there we go. It was getting stuck to the stator there. Now, before you put this mount on your new starter, you want to compare your bolt lengths. So we're going to pull a bolt out of the old starter and a bolt out of the new starter, and we could see they're pretty approximate. So this is going to work just fine. And now, remember which way your starter orients on your motor. So on this one, our power lug was facing towards the dash of the mower, and our mount was facing right here. So we're going to want to put this on just like that. Now we can go ahead and thread our bolts in to the upper mount of the housing, and we got ourselves a brand new starter without well, you know, without spending a lot of money looking for one. I went to Farm and Fleet. The starter they had on hand was with this mount, and some had different size shafts, bolt patterns, everything, but most Briggs starters have the same shaft, stator, body, and all that. It's a mount that's different. So don't spend the extra money just to get something with a special mount when you can swap the mounts yourself. It's not fun, but you learn something, and you know, you save yourself some money. So what's wrong with that? So I'm going to put this back together and get the starter slap back on. Alright, so once you get all that done, it's basically just undo what you did. Put everything back together the way it came apart. Now, I said there was 3 bolts on this starter. I was wrong. So before you go tearing into your mower, 2 bolts from the top on this T.N.T, which is an opposed twin. The other bolt I took out might have been a head bolt, but let's not worry about that. So we got it all back assembled. Let's see if she cranks a little better. So I'm going to set the brake. Well guys, here comes the fun part of the video. Is as you can see, this thing looks like crap. So we're gonna doll it up a little bit. I'm kind of thinking in the style of 2-lane blacktop, a little bit American Graffiti, and maybe Finnegan's Blasphemy. So let's get to cleaning this thing up, get it ready for some paint. Now, seeing as this is a lawnmower, we're not going to put a whole lot of time into it. I'm just going to go ahead and take my scuffy pad and some water, and we're just going to knock all the crap off of here. Kind of get the paint to adhere on it. Just kind of generally go over everything. Not going to get too crazy in this area because I got something special that you should really watch till the end, because remember what I said, 2-lane blacktop. It involves aluminum and a metal brake. Just wait, just bear with me. Now remember how I said we wanted to go 2-lane blacktop on this? Well, that's why we got this here sheet of aluminum. Now I know what I need is 18 inches long by 10 inches wide at the prow. So I'm going to need a little extra material. So we're going to go 18, 20 inches. So we're going to go 20 inches, which is right about there. We're going to make several marks right at 20. That way we have plenty of material, as the French would say. And we need 10 inches across. So I want what I'm doing here to be 3 inches tall, 3.5. So we'll go 17 inches across. So there's our 17, 17, 17, 17. So this is going to be the general layout of what we're going to do. Now, I was real good at drawing straight lines in school. So at 17, we're going to want to have 3.5 inches on either side. So 3.5 and 1, 2, 3.5. And we're just going to work it down. There we go. 3.5, 3.5. Now we have the center part of our work here. Just kind of draw, a nice alcoholic straight line there. Now we're going to want to lay out how we're going to want to do this. So try and keep it even. We're going to go, we'll go 3 inches. That sounds like a good number. So 3 inches from the edge. Go ahead and put ourselves a line there. And then again, 3 inches from the edge. And put ourselves a line from our mark to that 3 inch. All right. So there we go. Now we can start working on what this conglomeration is that I'm doing. So now, it's a lawnmower. We really don't have to work too hard on that. So we're going to go ahead and shear to our measure points. This is the beginnings of our little extra. Oh. All right, now that we got our aluminum cut out, I need to bend it. If you don't have a metal brake like me, well, you can get yourself a couple C-clamps like these. Go ahead and run them all the way out. Takes a lot longer than you think. I know everyone these days, go faster, do it faster. All right, so run our C-clamps out, and we're gonna bend up our piece here. So now, to make your brake, you're gonna want one 2x4, and then just go find another one laying in the yard. And then take your work piece, and this is where you're going to clamp it in, which we'll do it like this. And you just want to sandwich it on your line that you want to bend. The best way to do this would be to take another board and roll it over, but if you're careful, you can just work her over by hand. See that? There we go. Pretty nice, straight bend. Don't beat on it. Just kind of work it down with your hand. And you can loosen your clamps to do the other side. Like I said, just gently work it over, but you want to push as close to your break point as you can. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see, but we're starting to get the shape of what we're going for here. And the reason I cut this a little deeper is I'm going to flange this inside and then pull the front part down. And if you watch 2-lane blacktop, you know where I'm going. All right, we're going to continue to work on our little scoop project here. And what we want to do is angle the back and kind of clean up some of these edges. So I'll get the marker out and my ruler here. Kind of figure out what the angle is. That's probably about a 2-inch. So we'll do about 1.5 inches. So right there. Then we're gonna do probably 1/4 inch, which is right there. That way it gives me some room on the back side to clean up that edge as well. So over. Messier than what I wanted it to be as far as that, but now we can switch to our grinding wheel and go ahead and clean up all these sharp edges. Now, as you can see, we got the base coat on, and we're going to work on getting that hood scoop on. Now, what I've decided to do, now that we got our cuts straight here after a little bit of struggling, I'm actually going to nip just a little bit in and fold about 1/2 inch over. That way we have a nice rounded edge. All right, about there. There we go. Just nip each side. That looks about equal. Now we can take our board and start to bend this. There you go. Now, what we'll do, just like that, kind of get our edge where we want it. And just lightly tap it. You don't need to beat the hell out of it. There we go. See how we're starting? We got a pretty straight bend there. I'm gonna have to take the nippers, just take a little more out. But if you just lightly tap it over something, you can get a pretty good bend. Which I'll just grab a pair of pliers and kind of work them over and then fold it flat. Which you might be able to do with the hammer, but take a little bit more out with a nipper there. You see where we're hitting. So we'll just nip a little more out. There we go. Now we can work it. There, that's exactly what I was going for. So now we got a nice rolled edge on the back side. And I'm going to keep going around it, bend the top, and we're almost through business. Oh, there we go. Nice and rounded on the edge. You're not going to cut yourself. So let's get to getting this thing mounted. Alright, now we need a way to attach it to the hood. So, here's my plan. I've got a couple pieces of this real thin white aluminum angle, and I've been bending it over the tire on the truck there to get about the perfect angle on the hood. So we'll work it a little more. Alright, we're going to pop a couple holes here, and what we're going to have to do is actually bend that angle a little bit to get it to stand straight up. But I'm going to drill one hole right now just to kind of get them set so I have a pivot point. Now we'll just need to bend these in a little bit. All right. That should do it. All right, we got our mounts in place. Now we can drill our holes to mount the scoop. Okay, now we're going to trim just this little bit up here, kind of get it out of our way. There we go. Now we can pop a couple holes in that. Put some screws in. Oh, there we go. That's kind of what I was going for there. Kind of a grump lump. Kind of a grump lump and 2-lane blacktop style scoop here. Now, this is just, I wanted to get it on, get it done. What I really need to do is come in here and radius these edges a little bit to get it to suck down in the front, which I can come back and do, and that won't be an issue at all. But right now it's on, and it's a good 15-footer. So I do have some decals coming for this. We're going to name it and, of course, put the displacement on it. You know, a little hot rod more. So a couple more touches to do, and we'll check back in. All right. Well, a couple last touches we're going to do here is put some color on these wheels. I'm not going to mask it. It's probably going to look like crap. But hey. Let's see how well this will work. Yeah, that ain't bad. Neat. I didn't even get a pile over spray either, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, we need to clean them first. I'm just using some acetone and a rag. Just kind of get some of this goop out of here. Clearly I can't freewheel these, so we're going to do this. Disable the seat. I'd say that looks a little better. Yeah, once I get the decals up here, gonna have a decal going on the hood, displacement down there. I got some custom made ones coming. I think you'll like them, and I think you'll like the name I picked. But, of course, I'll come back and just kind of spruce up the deck a little bit. And probably gonna make a plate for this next week, so we don't have that giant hole there. Actually, I could probably do that now real quick. Yeah, give me a minute. Alright, as you can see, I just whipped up a plate here, cut it, fold it over, and that way it'll fit nicely over the shift quadrant. About right there. And we could start popping some holes in it. As you can see, it's now raining out, which is good, but the project's done. Thanks for following me along with this stupid little project we did on the mower. Of course, I had to put a starter in it, so why not just make over the whole thing? And I thought about using a mailbox as a hood scoop, but I wanted to bend my own up. So if you enjoyed something dumb like this, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, force a family member to watch it. You can find me on Facebook at T.N.T. Garage or on Instagram at TNT_garage. And next week, we should have the decals for this and slap them on. And we'll have a couple other videos coming out. Got the parts back for my son's 350 from the machine shop. So that should be going together within the next week or two and then drop it in the truck. But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed going on this little adventure with me. And just remember, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Thanks for watching.